I'd like to introduce to you our new John Deere MaxEmerge planter test stand. With this test stand, we have the ability to test, run and demonstrate our products that we have for our MaxEmerge planters. So straight off the top, we can demonstrate how different discs, planter discs that we can purchase affect our planting rates with different seed. So the way the planter test stand is set up, we actually have some componentry on this that is on the new MaxEmerge and MaxEmerge planters that are in the States. So instead of having a ground drive or a hydraulic drive, this unit is fitted with an electric motor that does the driving of the mechanism. Now typically on the new planter, the MaxEmerge planter in the States, this motor will be mounted directly to the seed meter unit. So here we have it adapted so that we can use the traditional Pro Drive shaft down to our meter. So this is a MaxEmerge 5 row unit box, so it's the new design. It actually has some changes to what we had traditionally. We now have the ability to adjust the doubles and eliminator at the back of the unit. It also has a slightly different drive on this side, so it doesn't have the little paddle system drive. But internally it still takes the same seed discs, and doubles eliminator is slightly different, but it has a knocker wheel capabilities as well. So we're monitoring this system using the latest in the SeedStar system, which is SeedStar 3. It gives us the ability to do some functions like meter runoff, and that gives us the ability to set some target rates, target speeds and some seed counts, so we can actually run the unit, and by running the unit we basically then have the ability to see whether we're getting some seed singulation, seed skips, seed multiples and the coefficient of variation. So it gives us a quick readout of how we're going with our planter unit. So if we are testing different seed plates, like this one here for cotton, it's a standard 64 cell plate for cotton. We have been running that in this unit this morning, and we have been triangling against a flat cell plate to see what sort of difference we get. So as a demonstration thing, we can be changing from one cell plate to another, but as a tool for our customers, we can have our customers bring in their own seed meter and box units off their planters. We can mount them onto this machine. We can fit their seed tube with the monitoring system into the row unit, and we can run the system and have a look at how their equipment is running compared to new equipment. So as a pre-season tool, we can check to see that their system is functioning as well as it can, and with replacement of some parts they might get better operation and seed singulation. So it's a self-contained unit. We have a vacuum cleaner outside that allows us to regulate the vacuum through these taps so that we can simulate what happens on the planter. Obviously on the planter you're doing that via your own oil supply to a vacuum fan. But for our ability, we have these tap systems so that we can regulate and we can monitor vacuum on our display up here, so that it allows us to go through different vacuums so we can see what happens with our seed skips and seed multiples with vacuum levels. So that's pretty much it. Well, what we'll do now is we'll go through the process of actually running the unit. It's a little bit noisy. You will be able to see what happens though. We've actually got cotton in here at the moment. So I've got a plate in there that's a flat plate disc, not this traditional disc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up to target 100,000 seeds a hectare at 10 kilometres an hour, and we're going to count out approximately 2,000 seeds with the unit. So I'll get it to action up and running, and we'll see how it goes. So what I'm doing now is I'm just putting some devices under here so that we can catch the seed so we don't make a mess on the floor. And I put a certain amount of seed into the hopper, certainly, and a good thing would be for customers to bring the seed in that they're going to use, so that we can actually run a true sample of their seed on their device, on their discs. But this is your 74 BRF, which is the most standard cotton seed that everyone uses at the moment. So I'll just turn our vacuum on, so things will get a little bit noisy now, but Okay, so we're going to do a test sample here now. We're running approximately 250 millimetres of vacuum. So I just start the unit up now. Our numbers have zeroed. We're now looking at some live data coming in. Currently we've got, out of 180 odd seeds, we've had 4 skips but no doubles. So this device can allow us to see what's happening with how the meter is performing. Notice how we've just had a couple of doubles come through. So we can tune the vacuum, or we can tune the doubles eliminator in the row unit to get our best settings. So at the moment we've been programmed to count through 2,000 seeds, so we're up to 890 odd, 900 seeds.
Are they coming out down there?
So if you come down here and have a look, you'll see that there's seeds. It's maybe a bit difficult to see, but there are seeds coming out through the row unit. So we have a seed sensor on the seed tube up here that's actually counting the seeds as they come down through the tube. So that's giving us the data. This is the new AccuCount sensor. So this is what's giving us the data that's being read up on the screen. So now the process is finished, it's automatically counted out its number of seeds. And I'll just turn the vacuum off so we can talk a little bit. So we now look at the results of what we've just done. If we look at a seed singulation number of 97.7, that's a reasonably good number. If we're using a traditional cotton cell plate like this, if we can get somewhere between 94 and 95% with a cotton cell plate, we're doing well. But with this particular cell plate that I've got in there now, the flat plate, we've got 97.7. So we targeted 100,000 seeds. It gave us 9,700. So we were 97.7% singulation. So we had overall 20 skips and 26 multiples, which is if you can get around about the same, it's a good way to go. You don't want to have a whole heap of multiples in those skips. But the less of either is better, but in this position we've got a coefficient of variation of 0.2, which is the lower this number is the better. So we can now take the cell plate out that we've got in there, the flat plate out that we've got in there, and put the cell plate in, and we can do a comparison. So to do that, the new MaxEmerge 5 plate row units have the ability to shut off the seed that's sitting in the cell in the box. I have the system here that I've worked out to change plates. We'll just swing that off, put them a little catching device underneath here. We'll just capture the seeds that are in the actual meter, like such. We'll get our other cell plate. So this is a traditional cotton cell plate. We'll put him in place. I need to change in the cover unit here. We have a doubles little knockout wheel that works with a flat cell plate. So we'll just quickly look. So flat cell plate, notice how we do have what looks like cells around here, but the seed is actually sucked onto these little holes around the outside. So this is just sort of like a steering mechanism for the seed, but the seed actually sits against these holes here. Whereas in this type of plate, which is our traditional plate, we actually have a cell that the seed sits into, and the vacuum hole is in the base of the cell. So we need to change the knocker wheel, and it's as simple as on these new MaxEmerge 5s, it's just a matter of levering a little lever over, the knocker wheel comes out. You get the new scraping device, it just clips back into place, and it's ready to go. So we'll just clip that back on. Now, this plate actually has 40 cells on it, whereas this plate has 64. So I need to tell the software that I've changed the number of cells. And to do that, I just go into my seed setup, and I'll just go down to the base number here, change the number of cells, enter that in, and it's ready to go again. I'll just have to top up my seed. And once again, we're ready to go. Now we run less vacuum. with one of these traditional cell plates. So I'll just open up these vacuum taps and we'll have to set that up once we get going. So I'm going to set around about 8 inches of vacuum, which is about 200 millimetres of water. So I'm just going to shut one of these taps down till I get to around about 200. And we're looking at this number just here. And what I need to do is I need to run the disc just to fill the cells, so I'll just do that. What's happening? What's happening, please? Here we go. So I've now filled the cell up with seed, so I'll just pause that for a second. So I wanted about 200, so we should be right to go at about that. So we're going to run through So now we have a sample of seed going through with a normal cotton plate. Once again, we have our doubles and our SIPs coming through. They're running about the same, so that's sort of where you want to go. But notice, you know, all of a sudden we already have more. We've only had 800 odd seeds go through, but we have more doubles and skips going on. So our seed singulation number is coming down. It's not as good as we had with this cell type plate. This flat disc plate. So we'll just wait for it to get to the end of its sample. So at this point in time, if we were noticing we had a lot more multiples than skips, you know, we could try less vacuum. Because with this type of plate, we don't run the doubles eliminator in place. So it's not important that it needs to be wound out of the way, but it's not something that we can set to change. So we've now got our results. I'll just turn the vacuum back off. So having a look at this particular plate, you can see we had a lot of multiples and a lot of skips. We only had 94% seed singulation. So I was saying before, if we could get somewhere between 94, 95, you were doing well with this type of plate. So our coefficient of variation numbers come up to 0.35. So once again, the lower that number, the better. So we're looking at the difference between what we've been traditionally running with a cell plate versus a flat disc plate. So there's certainly some scope out there for someone to try these plates because we can see from the results on the screen here that we can get a better seed singulation and more accurate population using one of these plates. So this test unit will be taken to different functions that we're going to be holding different days. We'll be demonstrating the different components that we can put into these row units. So, like I said, we encourage our customers to bring their own units in. We can run them on this machine with an adaptation plate for the older drives, for the XP planters and prior. And we hope that we'll be able to demonstrate the benefits of good setup and new seals, new equipment, and it gives us the ability to have better results with our crops.